Let's do half my face with high end and the other half with my favorite drugstore dupes. First, we have the Refi Brow Sculpt, which is actually one of the most disappointing products ever. I wanted to love it so bad, but it just doesn't hold up my brows. First is the MCO Beauty Brow Laminate. This one's actually better and just does a way better job at keeping my brows in place, and it's like the same product, but better. Prepping my skin with the Rhode Glazing Milk. This is one of my favorite milky toners. I just find it to be so hydrating, and my skin just like loves the ingredients in here. But the Bubble Milky Toner is definitely a really close dupe. Out of all the affordable milky toners, this one's the closest one. It has a very similar consistency and it does a really great job at hydrating my skin as well. And I'm gonna go in with the Say Glowy Super Gel on this side of my face. It has this really nice lightweight gel formula and obviously just gives the skin the most beautiful glow. But the CoverGirl Skin Enhancer is a very similar product. Also has this lightweight gel consistency, leaves the skin super glowy. Armani Luminous Silk on this side of my face. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my all-time favorite foundations. I just love the way that it sits on my skin. It also lasts so incredibly long. But the Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation is definitely a really great dupe. They both have a very similar finish, and I believe they also have very similar ingredients. The only big differences I'm noticing between the two foundations is if you have dry skin, the Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation has quite a bit of a dry down. It does dry down quickly, so you do have to work pretty fast, and you also have to make sure you're prepping your skin very well. Here they are side by side, Maybelline, Armani. Now I'm gonna go in with the Rare Beauty bronzing stick. I love this bronzer. The shade of it is amazing, and it's also a very creamy emollient formula. And the Morphe Set and Heat bronzer stick is an amazing dupe for the Rare Beauty bronzer. I just feel like the Morphe one kind of melts into the skin a little bit better and it becomes like a second skin. I did not mean to dupe Rare Beauty twice in a row. No shade to Rare Beauty. I'm going in with the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush in the shade Happy, which is an iconic blush formula. It's super pigmented, it's long lasting, but sometimes it can take a little bit more elbow grease to blend this out because of the pigment. But an amazing dupe for the Rare Beauty blush is the L'Oreal Lumi Liquid Blush. This one's in the shade Dewy Bright Pink, which is very similar to Happy. I personally just think that this blush blends out a little bit easier. It's also equally as pigmented and long lasting. It's actually one of my favorite blushes ever. For concealer, we're gonna go in with a Tower 28 concealer. This is an amazing serum concealer. It's super hydrating. No tea, no shade to this concealer, but I do have a drugstore one that's very similar, and that is the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. Obviously, they're both serum concealers, so they're both gonna be very hydrating, radiant formulas. I know I often say that the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Setting Powder cannot be duped. And while I do think that's true, I haven't found anything quite as blurring as the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder. I do think that the L'Oreal Blurfection is very similar and the closest dupe that I found. But the L'Oreal Blurfection Loose Setting Powder is a talc-free formula, so it's actually shocking that it's able to be this blurring. But the Huda Beauty formula does have talc in it, so I think it's just slightly more blurring than the L'Oreal one. Let me know what you think about the two sides so far. So here is the drugstore versus the high end. Go to part 2 to see the rest of the look.